Welcome back, everyone. So we have our third interest kind of installment financial strategy. This is with loans. Um, there's all these different strategies out there. So give you a quick overview. We were back at let's go back to the car loans. Uh, we're going to go with what we have is we're going to purchase if you remember, $12,000 car. We're going to put a little bit down, whatever they require for us. Hopefully, there's reasons why we do low as long as the interest rates are low. We would put more down to save on interest. If the rates are too high, there's all these different strategies. Now, typical car loan, if it's a used car, is probably going to be 4 years. They're going to make you pay off a used car faster than a new car. They're also going to make you pay off cars that don't hold their value faster. So if you have an SUV, they might let you go for 5 or 6 years, maybe even 6 years if it's a newer SUV. They might go, if it's a used car, they might make you pay it off in 3 years, maybe 4. It depends. So let's go with an average time frame to pay off a loan, 60 months or 5 years. Okay. And the interest rate, let's say you've got a decent credit score, we'll go with 5.25. So I keep referring back to credit score because this whole course is about stats. Statistic is measuring risk and reward. So if you credit score is measuring the risk of somebody paying you back, and then knowledge of interest will tell you what the reward looks like it might be. Okay, there's expected value attached to all this. So what we have is we're going to finance, is the term they use, $11,500 for this car for 5 years. Now, remember what I talked about in the last session was that each month you pay off some of this is called balance right here. The amount left is the balance. All right. So you finance 11,500. So on 6/2, the bank gives, the car dealership 11,500 for the car, right? So this is how much is financed. Now, what I wanted to get into was some of this other stuff here. The interest applied after borrowing that amount for 1 month is going to be $50. Okay, if you borrow that amount for 1 month, it's $50. You're going to make a payment at the end of the month of $218.34. Okay, so that's where this balance is going to be after the payment is made. Now let's talk about some other categories I never mentioned. Cumulative interest paid. I want to show you how much extra you paid beyond, beyond the principal or the balance of the loan. Now, equity is strange. Equity is how much of the purchase price you paid. Okay, so for the equity amount, we've paid $500 right up front. So equity is how much of the purchase price you've paid or how much of the item you own. Okay, so $500 worth is what we own. And there's some weirdness with cars because they depreciate so fast. But let's say it was to hold its value the whole time. You would have $500 worth of equity. It doesn't, but let's just say to keep it simple that it does. Now, what we consider is the percent equity the person has in that. So 4.2% of the purchase price is paid off. Okay, or the amount is $500. All right, so as you go through, what happens is you continue to pay off this principal, or no, this purchase price. Okay, so after the first month's payment, your equity increases, right? Which means your balance is decreasing. So you see this relationship, right? Okay, so these two numbers you can bet will add up to $12,000. Equity and balance added together will be $12,000 the whole time. Now, of course, the car is depreciating, but let's pretend that's not happening. Okay, so down here, after say 24 payments, that's 2 years. After 24 payments, you've You've still got a balance of 7,200 left out of the 11,500 that you borrowed. But what's great is you've got some equity, $4,700 into the car, or close to 40% of the car paid off. So look into equity. I just wanted to give you a little intro to that a little bit right today, because you did see these other columns. I wanted to talk about them. Now, this is where it gets a little bit weird. Okay. What I want to do is there's these strategies out there called the 13th payment. Okay. It's a little complicated, but it is something that a lot of people do. A 13th payment is for the purpose of everybody kind of has their finances broken down into 4-week increments. So when you look at your finances, you're going to allocate 4 weeks for every month of payments, right? Well, that would, for 12 months, 4 per month would get you 48 weeks. Okay, that leaves you 4 extra weeks or 1 extra month's worth of pay. All right, process that for a minute. I know that's a kind of a advanced concept, but so basically you're paid for 52 months, and your monthly payments are really can be covered by that in 48 months of pay. So you get that 4 extra weeks of pay, which we call a 13th month. Now, what a lot of people will do is they will take a sum of money every year and throw it at their loans. Now, this is a strategy that's out there, a financial strategy. Other things you can do with that extra money is invest it, which is probably better. Depends on the rate of your loans. If the rate of your loans are under 6%, you might want to invest. If they're above 6%, you'd want to pay off your loans. So, back 20 years ago when your parents were doing this, they would always throw their extra pay towards their loans because their interest rates were so high back then. Now they're low, so if you can stay under 6%, you probably should invest. If you get over set at 6%, you should pay off your loans. So let's say we try the 13th payment. What they would tend to do for a car is they would throw one whole extra payment at it every one time a year. Not every time, but one time a year they would throw this 218.34. Okay, this is this won't save a ton. So the interest that you would pay without doing this extra payment is $1,600. It'll bring that down a little bit. Okay, so for a car payment, it's probably not worth it to do the 13th pay. Okay, go back to 0. You notice it really only saved $110. All right, now car loans, not probably the most intelligent use. Now, when we go over to a house loan, of course, that's going to save significantly. So let's jump over to a house loan. All right, let's say we bought a house for $150,000. We have to put, 5% down or 10% down, something like that. 5%, we'll say $7,500. Okay. We get a decent interest rate of 4.5. Okay, and we're going to sign up for a 30-year loan. We'll show you some happenings here. Oh, I had 1 too few zeros. There we go. All right, now we're back in. This is hard to accept, but yes, you're going to not only pay the remaining part of the loan, $142,000 or $142,500. You're also going to pay an additional $117,000. Wow, that hurts. Okay, how do we minimize that? Well, you're going to have to either shorten the time, okay, and pay way more. By the way, $722 is just the monthly payment for this loan. Okay, that's not even the insurance and taxes. Now, in this area, New York State, Monroe County, if you got a $150,000 house, you're probably looking at taxes, probably, taxes and insurance up around $600. So your real monthly payment is going to be like, unfortunately, $1,300-ish. So it's going to be a lot, but get into that when you're financially ready, and you'll be okay. Now, let's say that we don't like this $117,400. Okay, we could in fact make a 13th payment Now, remember, it's 30 years is the life of the loan. You can pay back loans faster. What they give us is a minimum payment. The minimum payment, 722. You can throw a 13th payment. Let's say that the 13th payment is, you know what, we're going to do an extra 1,000. Here's why. Because you're already paying taxes and insurance in addition to the 722. Okay, so that's around 1,300. So we'll just say our 13th payment, we're going to throw an extra $1,000 every year at our mortgage. Now watch this $117,000 come down. It's going to come down significantly, okay, to 94,000. So you just saved $23,000 in interest just by doing that, making one extra payment a year of $1,000. Okay, so that 13th payment is a big strategy that's used out there that isn't going to hurt you too bad. And then you know what? If you don't have the money at the end of the year to do this, you don't do it. You'll still be on track. Okay, so let's avoid that. Let's say we don't want to do that, right? Go back to we're going to $117,000. Oh, by the way, I put a savings category. I forgot this. Let's see how much the savings was. Yeah, it was $23,000. So if we throw that 13th payment in, that's just one extra payment every year. You're going to save in the life of the loan $23,000. It's also going to pay off the loan much faster. So if you notice, see these thousands kicking in, this is your extra payments. Instead of taking 30 years to pay off the loan, let's see, when do we actually finally finish it? Instead of being at 30 years, ready? We're at, instead, we got some weirdness happen here, but we got it back. 297 payments, that's just short of, yeah, it's 5 years quicker. So you saved yourself 5 years on the life of the loan. It's pretty good. Okay, so let's get back and let's try another strategy. So some people ask me, all right, this is a very common question. Why don't we do the 15 years? Well, if you can afford it, that's great, but not many people can. Remember, we're already at a 722 payment just for the mortgage. That's not even included taxes and insurance. So not everybody can handle that. So 15 years, wow. It's another $368, something like that. So $1,090 just for the monthly payment, plus you still have those other taxes and insurance. You know what I would suggest to these people if they want to save? Now you're going to save a lot. Okay, we're at 117, so this is a significant savings. We're talking more than you save more than half of the interest. Okay, so what a big savings that is. 117 down to 53. Wow. All right, so that's a desirable for everybody. So how do you do that without putting yourself in such a bad spot with the payment amount? Well, you can put in a random extra payment. Okay, so what I want to do is show you what if we made payments like we were doing the 15-year timeline, but we signed up for a 30-year loan. Okay, so let's just say we put 300 extra. Okay, that would take us to 1,022. Okay, 15-year loan is 1,090. All right, so let's just put in our random extra of 300. So what's going to happen here? Okay, so let's say we do this, right? We put the 300 extra, so we pay it off. You are going to still have the same effect. You're going to pay it off in less time, in a little over 15 years, but you just saved $58,000 without putting yourself in a bad spot. So let's say right here, you know what? I can't make the extra payment here. I can't put the extra $300 here on month 12. I just don't have it. So I don't put the extra in. I only put in the 722 that I originally signed up for. So I don't save as much. No big deal. But at least with this 30-year time frame you're signing up for, you get a lower payment. You can always put in extra anytime you want. Okay, so we'll get rid of that again. I'll get rid of that in the next session. So that's how I would advise people, to pay back their loans faster, sign up for the longest you can, and then just pay back more. Give yourself a low payment, but pay back more if you have it. Put yourself in a safer spot there. Now, we're going to mess with the interest rate and show you the impact of credit score. Let me just fix this for a second. Okay. Back up here. All right, back to normal. Now, what if we save on the interest rate? Or let's say we have a great credit score and we can get our home loan down to 3.5 right now. Okay. So 117 comes down to 87,000. You could save $30,000 a year, or $30,000 for the life of the loan, just by taking good care of your credit score. So please make sure that you understand when I teach you guys the credit stuff, that you go back and say, all right, I'm really going to pay attention because it's really crucial to my finances in the future. Let's say I have a terrible credit score, okay, and I still want this loan. You're going to be looking at maybe a 6.25, okay? You're going to end up paying $173,000. Somebody that is really taking care of their credit score, getting an 800 credit score, they're going to be down here, 3.5. Watch how much they save. Okay, so they're going to save $90,000 over somebody that doesn't take care of their credit score over the course of 30 years. So really important that we teach you those finances, and now you're, hopefully it's getting students college and career ready and life ready. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hope you enjoy.